And welcome into Tennessee Tuesday. It's a Tuesday evening, February the 17th. I'm John Blankenship, your host of the program tonight. I serve as the Tennessee Division Commander of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, and we're glad you're here with us this evening. We've got a special show tonight. It's going to be a good one. Our second Lieutenant Commander of the Tennessee Division, Mr. Sean Hill, will be joining us this evening. He'll be talking about his re-election campaign for the Tennessee Division reunion in April. We'll also have some other discussion about activities in the division. So it's going to be a good program tonight. We hope you'll hang around with us for the next hour or so and join us on this program this evening. We do need to put our disclaimer up. Remember, the views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not those of the SCV, its GEC, or any divisions, brigades, or other subsidiaries of the organization. So there's our disclaimer this evening. These opinions you hear tonight and comments are our own. So we get our disclaimer started. We've got a great show lined up, and we are glad that you are here with us this evening. We want to jump into some of the comments before we bring Sean on here with us in just a moment and say hello to a few folks that are joining us this evening. Always a great crowd on a Tuesday night, and we appreciate you being here with us. You may be asking, where is Jason Boshears? Well, he has his camp meeting this evening there. The Sam Watkins camp meets there, and on the third Tuesday of the month. So he is busy at the camp meeting tonight. So let's say hello to a few folks this evening. The Hudson's joining us there from Florida. I hope they're doing well this evening. Always glad to have them with us as very strong supporters of our program. We do appreciate that. Our Florida folks all checking in. Kim here with us tonight as well. Saying hello to Donald Gaines from the Rankin Grays camp there in Florence, Mississippi. So good to have him with us here this evening. Lots of folks already jumping on. Derek Glover, he's one of our faithful. He is from, of course, Jamestown. Mr. Jamestown. He says his greetings from Mr. Jamestown. I guess that's what he is tonight. And then he corrected himself from. We'll go with the Mr. tonight. How about that, Derek? Glad you're here with us. Also, Daniel joining us this evening. Good evening to you, sir. We're glad you are watching with us tonight. Hello to Toby tonight. We're glad that you're here As always, appreciate your support. Go ahead and share the video tonight out on your Facebook page, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can share that as well on your different social media outlets. The more you share this program, the more viewers we gain, the more our message goes out as well. So we hope you will share that. Be grateful for that tonight. Also, hello to Johnny Jenkins joining us from Springfield, Missouri, just up the road here. We're glad he's with us tonight. Rich joining there from the Gainsboro Invincibles. I hope Rich is doing well tonight. Also, hello to Al. He's joining there from Tullahoma, always a faithful viewer here on our program. Again, hello to all the folks coming in, several joining in. David Daniels, of course, with us, forwarding the charge. That's exactly what we're called to do. That's what the veterans themselves wanted us to do, is protect their good name and defend them. Of course, Roy jumping in there as well. His wife, Linda, they're commenting a little earlier, so we're glad to have him here tonight. A few more comments we'll get in, and then we'll welcome in our guest tonight, Daniel Brooks, joining us as well from Kentucky, Mr. Floyd Harvey, and from the Keller camp there in Hot Springs. Hope things are going well over in Arkansas. Also, Alan joining us tonight there from Shreveport. Hope things are well down in Louisiana. Also, Kyle Thompson joining us up the road, the Kentucky Division commander there. Good evening to him. Yeah, Jason was up your way this past weekend. I saw some photographs of that. Looks like a good event. Hope y'all had a good time. Kevin Witherell joining us this evening as well. Hello to him. Our chaplain in the Tennessee Division, Jim Collinsworth, on with us tonight. Hey, Jim. Just a lot of folks coming in. James Price, JR, joining us there from the Ike Stone camp. Down in Henderson tonight. Steve, just down the road there from the Shiloh camp. He's with us as well. And we've got all kinds of folks joining us. Dr. Steve Murphy there from Murfreesboro. And a couple of more we'll say hello to, and then we'll get into some more of our program tonight. Steve on with us. A good evening to you as well. And then Ryan Rogers here with us from Alabama. Glad to have him here this evening. So there's some of our comments tonight. We hope you'll comment throughout the program, and we'll share some of those throughout the show. And again, we are glad you're here with us tonight. We'll be here for the next hour for the program. We have some Tennessee Division news and some events and activities we'll share with you in the last half of the show. But right now, let's go ahead and bring on our guest, Mr. Sean Hill, who is the 2nd Lieutenant Commander of the Tennessee Division. He is one of our most active members in the division. He is involved in something all the time. Nothing slows him down. And, of course, he works his wife, Mandy, just works her to death and keeps her busy as well. They are a team. And, again, Sean is a great friend, and we're glad to have him on the program tonight. Sean, welcome in.
Good evening, Commander. Good evening, everybody, all my brothers on here.
Yeah, glad to have you on tonight. Well, a couple of things we'll talk about. We're going to learn more about you folks that may not know all about you and everything we need to know and may not even need to know. We're going to learn tonight. And then, of course, you're going to kind of give your campaign speech after our first break and some of the things and goals you have and some things you've accomplished in the division. And we'll even have just some regular conversation about things going on, projects we've worked on in the division. Lots of good stuff happening here in Tennessee. I'm proud to be a Tennessean for at least 6 generations, if I look at one ancestor. So we've been here a long time in Tennessee. Sean, you were raised just down the road a little bit in Alabama?
I was from Alabama, but my mother was born in Tennessee. So I have Tennessee family, but I lived in Alabama until I was 45 years old or so, 40 years old.
Well, then made the big move to Tennessee. You just had to be in with the good Tennessee Volunteers, right?
Yeah. And we'll talk about that. That's one thing. I didn't even know about the SCV when I lived in Alabama. And,
oh, wow.
And I didn't know about the SCV until I moved. I live about 12 miles from headquarters, and I didn't even know about it. We're the best kept secret in the South. We need to change that.
And that's what we want to change. You go back a generation, Sean, you look in the early 1900s, man, the SCV was in every newspaper and publication, what they were doing, honoring the soldiers and just involved in the local community. And that's something we want to change. We want to see that again. We want to see us helping in the community, promoting our message and what we do, honoring the Confederate soldier. And It's going to be a good discussion tonight. Sean, let's kind of jump in before we take our first break and go over our list of sponsors tonight. Let's tell you about a few things coming up during the show. We've got other shows that are on SCB Chat throughout the week. We'll talk about some of those, as well as we'll talk about the Tennessee Division reunion that's coming up in April, as well as the national reunion in Lexington, Kentucky in July. We'll have details about that, hotel information coming up during this show. But folks are joining tonight. Sean, they want to know more about you and who you are. Kind of give me the little background first, kind of what you've done, and then we'll kind of get in how you got interested in history and into the SCB.
Well, the way I got interested in history, let me answer that first. My grandfather, who raised me, was a World War II veteran. So I grew up hearing about his war stories and all that kind of stuff and watching war movies with him. And then I started with books on World War II, and I collect a little bit of that stuff. And then I got interested in Civil War because of all the battlefields and stuff around here. And I will say that my wife, I've drug her all over the place for vacations and everything. And funny story, I'll tell you a quick funny story. My wife and her mother wanted to go to Niagara Falls and to Toronto one summer for vacation. Well, we went to Niagara Falls. We crossed over into Toronto and went and did all that. They went to sleep in the truck. And somehow or another, we ended up in Gettysburg the next morning.
Wow.
But I've been to Gettysburg about 5 or 6 times and really enjoyed the history. And I'm just a big reader and a big history buff. My professional background is in electronics. I'm actually an electronics engineer. I did that for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm retired now, but.
Well, Sean, you're showing that age now. And I was going to say you weren't, but about 45, 46. So.
Yeah, I'll be 57 in May.
Well, you are very active, and I know bring a lot of skill set to the SCB as well with your professional background there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to part of what I did for a professional living was I would teach seminars and stuff like that to our clients, and I'm pretty familiar with all that. So I hope those skills help us in the SCB and the division. I've done a lot of different jobs in the division. So,
yeah, you've been active, of course, in the local camp to the brigade level and now to the main officers in the Tennessee division. Sean, I know something folks ask a lot, and I brag on you to say when some people with the disability you have would slow them down and prevent them from doing anything, that does not prevent you from doing. You work as hard and more hard than most all of us combined. And that's commendable and something that folks that don't know you or haven't been around, you know that you let nothing slow you down to get out and honor your ancestors.
No, I'm not going to let it. The only thing that's going to slow me down is 6 foot of dirt. So, you know.
Well, talking about that, tell me about, you went on a recent hunt, and I know I've seen pictures. Tell me about this little mobile thing you got to ride out there to hunt on.
Oh, it was very cool. I've got video as soon as they get through editing it. I had a film crew with me for that whole day.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as they get through editing, man, I'm going to share it with all y'all. But
yeah,
I had the organization that's called Hope Outdoors. And they do a real good job working with disabled people, disabled veterans. And they have these track chairs. They're chairs like my electric chair that I normally use, but it's got tracks mounted on it.
It kind of reminds me of one of those little bobcats you see, like a miniature bobcat.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. And they've got like 2 very large, like trolling motor batteries in it, so it doesn't run down.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually pulled the deer out that I killed with it. So
really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, tied a rope around it and pulled it out. So.
Man, you could do all kinds of stuff with that. You could attach a little bulldozer type thing to the front, and man, you can move dirt and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, Sean, have you got you one of those yet?
Not yet. They're about $15,000.
Oh, wow.
Anybody that knows me, I have bad spending habits.
So you'll have one soon. The question is Mandy going to let you get one?
Yeah, I think she would be okay with it.
You'll have to let her ride on it some too.
Yeah,
She can
well,
get out there, get her some attachments. She can do some yard work too.
yeah, yeah.
Well, again, of course, avid there, Hunter. You enjoy those as well. Let's talk a little bit about before we take our first break, kind of some of the roles you've had in the organization so far. Kind of how did you get in when you joined the SCV? Where did you join, and what really prompted you to join?
Well, what prompted me to join is I started doing my ancestry work when we moved here, and I retired about a year and a half after we moved here because I was driving 75 miles one way.
Oh wow.
And I had been with the company already for over 20 years. So I made it to 21 and I told them I'm retiring.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fortunate that I could go ahead and draw my retirement because of my disability and not have to wait until I was older. And
Mm-hmm.
so I started doing my ancestry work and found that I had a Confederate veteran. I knew I had a Confederate veteran in my past. I didn't find him. I knew it because my grandfather had been taking me to this grave since I was able to walk.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm.
So I knew about it, but I didn't know about the SCV. So doing ancestry work, somehow or another, it popped up. Somehow I got connected with Wes Pullen,
Mm-hmm.
and met him at the library, and I brought him all my pictures and everything, pictures of the grave and my ancestry and everything. And he says, "Okay, you won't have a problem." I was a member as quick as they could get the paperwork processed through,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to two or three meetings, and Wes says, "You're pretty smart. How about becoming our program coordinator?" So that's what I started as a program coordinator for the Marshall Rangers. And then I went to first lieutenant commander, then camp commander, and I was brigade adjutant for many years for Wes, who was a brigade commander. And then when he decided to step down from that, I became brigade commander. So I've done program director, um, first lieutenant commander, all at the camp level. I've done brigade adjutant, brigade commander, now second lieutenant commander for the division, and that's all been in. I've been in the SCV 15 years this year.
Been busy, a lot of work, and again, that shows experience is important. That you have worked your way up, you've learned the different roles, and I know you're going to talk more about that in just a little bit about some of the things you'd like to see accomplished, and some of those things that you've accomplished as in your role here, and maybe in other roles as well. We can kind of go back some projects you've worked on. So it's about 18 minutes now past 7 o'clock. We're glad you're here with us, Sean. Let's go ahead and take our first break. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about your campaign. I'll kind of turn that over to you and let you kind of lead where you want to go with that and the things you want to discuss tonight. So we'll do that. And Sean Hill will be back with us here in just a moment. But let's go ahead and say hello to a few more folks. But before we get into our first break here, Carl Jones joining us just down the road from you, not too far there, Sean. So he's joining us this evening. Also, Keith with us as well. We're glad he's here. I see a couple of new folks coming in. Chris is on with us this evening. We're glad to have him here too. Steve there from Camp 87 in Knoxville. Good to see him here this weekend. Sean, you got to go to their, I believe, their Lee Jackson banquet, didn't you?
Yes, I was at their Lee Jackson banquet just a couple of weeks ago, and they had a real good turnout. It was over 150 people.
That's a big crowd. That's a big event.
Yeah, we've been to that for about 3 or 4 years in a row now, and we really enjoy it.
Well, Derek Glover's got a comment here too. You playing off something we said a little earlier. He says Commander Hill has more coverage in Tennessee than Allstate. That's true. You've been all over.
I go all over.
Absolutely. Let's see. David Pope joining us this evening, of course, up in East Tennessee. Hello to David. Of course, he's got his program on Friday nights. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a little bit. And if he wants to leave a comment, we'll share what he's got. If he's live this Friday night, we'll have the details about that coming up. Also, Keith here saying some comments. I love when folks talk back and forth to each other throughout the program and the interaction there. Rich, of course, Wes and his Corvette. I think we've talked about that once before.
Yeah.
Wes got a pretty slick Corvette.
He got a really good deal on it. And when he retired, I encouraged him. he'd been talking about wanting one for years, and I encouraged him to buy it. So
it fits him well. I mean, he's got the look. When I first saw him pull up, and I'm like, what do you got there? What is that? Wes, a hard worker, and of course, he's always getting someone into the SCB and to bringing new members all the time. So let's see our first break here. As we get ready to get into it, we need to say thanks to our sponsors this evening that make our show possible. Of course, our Patreon members. Without them, we couldn't do this on SCB Chat and Tennessee Tuesday and all the programs you hear on the network. Without their sponsorship and support, this wouldn't be possible. You've got different levels that you can join. The easiest way to tell you is go to scbchat.com. You can learn more about becoming a Patreon member. If you visit Patreon, you can search SCB Chat, and you can learn about the different levels and help sponsor the programming, of course, the equipment, and just all the back end to make this happen. It is expensive, and it takes dollars to make that happen. So we thank our sponsors for their support to support this thing that Harrison and Connor have put together, and it continues to grow, and we want to help that to continue to grow, to promote our cause and what we do at the SCB. So I thank all of our sponsors this evening. Again, we couldn't do that with all. You see all these names running across the screen. So many folks there that have teamed up with monthly sponsorship levels. Whether you just got a small amount to give, whether you want to give a large amount. And there's also options as well if you want to become a show sponsor. And we want to say thanks to some of these folks, Dr. Chris Cummings in Modern Medicine with Southern Hospitality. Dr. Chris Cummings, of course, they're in Oxford, Mississippi. I know one of his specials, Sean, is knee pain. If you've got any of that, you need to go see Dr. Cummings. He'll take good care of you. And, of course, he is an SCB member as well. And we thank him for his support here of this program and all the programs you hear on SCB Chat. Also, Commander Larry McClooney, past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney, has a new book there that we've been talking about, The Paradox of Freedom. I know you can see I have a copy. I haven't finished reading it yet. I've enjoyed it so far. Sean, you may be like me. I never always make it through one straight through. I got short attention span. I go to something else and start working on another thing and jump back and forth.
The good thing about past Commander McClooney's last book is you can read that one in sections. So it's a good one to read just a section and put it down and go back to it, because I'm like you. I get busy doing stuff and I forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see part of my book collection behind me here. So
yeah, we're all, of course, mine is kind of blocked out at the moment. I've got several shelves over here, and I got some new books, and I want to show you one here. This is one I've read before, but didn't have a copy until last night. This was written by Rebel Forrester, who was from Union City. His son is still an SCB member, and it's called Glory and Tears. And he really talks about the war era in Obion County, and some good information in here. So glad to be able to have a copy of that. And a friend of mine who's in our camp, Brent, last night gave me some other, we all get these type of books, these bound ones like this, these local histories. Good stuff that he had in his collection. He sent my way, and love those things, love research, and love history. Also, we need to say tonight, thanks to one of our new sponsors here, the 31st Regiment Engraving. They do Southern themes items and custom laser engraving work. 31stregengraving.com. You can go visit, again, their website there, and you can learn more about all the engraving work they do. And we have a graphic here to show you. You can just see some of the things that they do. And I've seen more on their social media. It's very good work. And they're one of our show sponsors here also this evening at Tennessee Tuesday. So we are glad for all of those folks for sponsoring our program. So we need to go ahead and take our first break. We'll come back. We'll be talking more with Second Lieutenant Commander of the Tennessee Division. Sean Hill is with us tonight. We'll be back right after this.
Was your great-grandfather a traitor or a patriot? Today's politically correct are trying hard to take away the heritage of the brave Confederate soldiers who fought and died for their land. But one thing is certain, they can't change history. Those Confederate soldiers were fighting for the same reason soldiers fight today. They were fighting against homeland invasion. We believe that the desecration of the bravery, patriotism, and honor of those men should not be allowed. They were outmanned and outsupplied, but they were never outfought. They were proud men who believed in fighting to protect their dignity, their homes, and their families. If you're the male descendant of a Confederate soldier, we'd welcome you to join with us in the preservation of that heritage. We're the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Check us out on the internet at scv.org or call us at 800-MY-SOUTH. That's 800-697-6884. Sons of Confederate veterans dedicated to preserving the reputation of men like Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and your great-grandfather.
There is a place, nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
And welcome back into Tennessee Tuesday. It's Tuesday, February the 17th. I'm your host, John Blankenship of the program. Jason Boshier is having a camp meeting tonight, so he is off. Sean Hill is our guest this evening. And Sean, lots of folks jumping in to hear from you tonight. And let's say hello to a couple more. And Carl mentioned this, and we do want to go ahead and mention this. The Army of Tennessee workshop that's coming up on May the 2nd. And I have a poster here for that, and we'll go ahead and mention that. Let me find it here. Let's see. Let's hide that, and let's pull this up here. It's coming up, of course, on May the 2nd from 9 till 3. You can see some of the speakers there. Going to be a good evening. One of our Tennessee guys going to be down there. Rich Garcia going to speak. Forrest Dawes, Jimmy Hill, and Connor Bond. Again, now, Sean, help me out on that name of that town in Alabama, because I don't want to mess it up, and you're from that way.
Wetumpka.
Say it, Wetumpka?
Wetumpka. It's an Indian name.
I figured it was an Indian name. I said, I am not going to mess. I was going to use the word butcher, but that may not be the appropriate word to use, but I didn't want to mess that one up. So that's coming up there. Again, the Army of Tennessee workshop and reunion. It's going to be a great evening. And again, you can register there. We have that shared. If you're a member of the Army of Tennessee, you can find that on our Facebook group. And Carl, let's see if Carl comments. Carl, how do they register? It's not on the poster there. I know they can reach out to you, and I don't see that on the poster. So if they need to register, let me know, and we'll promote that again, how they need to do that.
There is a registration form. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I've seen one. So.
Yeah, I know I've seen one. I didn't see it when I pulled that up, so we'll find out a little bit later on. So, Sean, let's kind of jump in. It's time for the division reunion. It's an election year in Tennessee. Lots of folks are seeking office to serve, and you served your first term as the second lieutenant commander of the division. It's been an honor to serve with you. Let me say that first. And you're seeking re-election this year at this reunion. So let's kind of talk about your campaign, some things you've worked on, you've kind of accomplished, and maybe some things you'd like to continue to work on.
I am proud to serve with you too, John. I've known you for several years now, and it's an honor to work with you and Rich.
Thank you.
And Jason. And, we all work hard, and I just appreciate all my SCV brothers. But while we're on AOT real quick, I am now the newsletter editor for AOT. So
that's what I heard. I heard you've taken on those responsibilities.
anybody in AOT that's got stuff they want to put out in the newsletter, which will be out in April, email it to me, please. I'm collecting that stuff now. So I'll go on from that, but I just wanted to mention it while we were talking about AOT.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about, you want to talk about some of the things you've accomplished in your time, not just as second lieutenant commander, but maybe as you kind of come up the roles and the positions. What are some of the things that stand out that you've done that you're proud of?
Our biggest accomplishment so far has been getting the funding for the pavilion at the Forest Home. You know, I've worked several years with Gene out there. Anybody that knows me knows I've been out there doing everything from taking my tractor out there and covering holes and working out there with Gene, helping him. You know, my wife, I've conned her into cooking several years in a row out there for concessions. And we always try to do the most we can. Of course, that's only 15 miles from my house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of close to home here. You know, we take care of this around here first. And I think that's going to be my biggest accomplishment is when we get that pavilion built. Not to take away from Gene because he's worked a lot harder than me, but I've been really
you've been involved out there. You've been through this whole process. You're close. You're able to assist, and you're willing to assist.
Yeah. And the second thing would be the hero cards for the division. I worked with Rich and Dr. Murphy on doing those, and that was a big deal. We worked really hard on that.
Well, tell folks about those, Sean. That I wish I had a graphic of one to show folks. Tell them folks a little bit about it, how it kind of come together, and what it is for folks that may not really know.
It was originally Rich's idea for recruitment to do a hero card of some of the Confederate heroes, and then we kind of decided as the education committee to go reach out to every camp and have them submit a hero from their camp for us to do a bio and a picture on this card. And then they can use them for recruitment. They can use them for giveaways at gun shows or whatever that they want to do with them. And they're also a collector's item.
They're very neat.
Professionally done.
They're kind of like your traditional baseball cards. I thought when I put you full screen, then I thought I had mine over here for our camp over here by me, but it's not close anymore. There you go.
This is our camp's card. Maybe somebody's got a better picture.
Yeah, keep holding that up, but you can get an idea there of what that looks like. Yeah, those are really neat.
Of course, that's Jake Donaldson, the famous rooster for the 3rd Tennessee that was supposedly captured and taken to prison camp in Chicago. And then you can see the back of it's the write-up on it.
And so we made those as we did 50 of them.
We did 50 of them.
So the different camps in the division that participated there, they have either an image of the soldier or something appropriate for the naming of their camp, and then a little history of their camp and our contact information. Yeah,
we have several that are named after some of General Forrest horses. We have a couple of forest camps. We have just in general, you know, everything from privates to generals to chickens to horses and everything else. So, and the kids love them, and they're very professionally done.
And they've been good too, because twofold. They're a fundraising effort. We can sell those for people who want to collect them as a whole set, and then we also broke some of them down and distribute them to the different camps so they can use them as recruitment, sell them, give them out, whatever they choose. And I've seen them out, and I've seen camps doing that. We use some of ours at our recruitment booth at the Gibson County Fair, and people they quit quickly. And the times I was at the booth, different individuals were picking them up, looking at them, taking them with them. So it's just getting our name out there.
Yeah, we've given several away when I helped Rich with the recruitment booths all over Tennessee that we've done. So it was a good thing. Those are two big accomplishments that I'm proud of so far.
So let's talk about a little bit on the local level, Sean. What have you kind of done? I know y'all do cemetery work as well. You've been involved in some of those sites too.
We do cemetery work. I rode around in my chair cleaning headstones. I'll let Mitch and Buddy Martin take the lead on that, but I've helped, taking my tractor and moved limbs
and you've been there. You traveled the division as well. I know you came down to help with the workshop here with our camp in Humboldt, and
I've helped do some cert. I'm certified and do the cert workshops and everything. So I've done a couple of those with Mitch. It's been really good.
Yeah, some great accomplishments. Let's look to the future. What do you see the Tennessee division going under your leadership and your role now? What are some of the things you'd like to see accomplished? What do we need to work on? What can we make better?
Short term, I want to work on our communications. And I know it's been a big deal. We have problems with people opening emails.
Yeah.
But I believe if we can get our commanders, our brigade commanders, and our camp commanders communicating better with their members, and the communication comes down from the Army level, national level, division level, we can pass that along, and people know what's going on, because that's the only way we know what's going on is through communications. That's one of the things short term that I really want to work on.
And that's always a challenge. We know that we've tried different options. We do constant contact now with our members to email. We still do a traditional one time of year short newsletter that goes out. Just getting people to check email. There's other options out there. And I know some other divisions we've recently heard talk about some of the things they worked on. Jamie Graham in the Army of Northern Virginia there, he mentioned last week some things he'd like to see and some communication that they're using. So there's many options to work on.
And of course, stuff like the chats that we're doing, they're an excellent way to communicate and let everybody know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Something we've started, I brought in as division commander recently, is we have a Facebook group that's just for the command staff, the voting DEC, just so we can communicate, like if so-and-so's camp is doing this or the brigade has something going on, a way we can communicate stuff like that ourselves. And there's some other brigades I know that do that as well, have their own pages. And people really communicate well in those groups. That's a way for people to talk and communicate.
And I know people hate Facebook. And I will admit, I was not on Facebook until Joy Nolan encouraged me to get on it and start using it for communicating. And it's a very efficient way of communicating between us. I know we communicate, John and myself and Rich communicate every day, just about.
Yeah, we have a little Facebook message group that we can chat back and forth about things going on, ideas and stuff like that. And it's important we can have that communication that way. And we don't always have to pick up the phone and call each other. If there's little tidbits going on, we can share that with each other. And communication is a key to make anything work.
And I've even told my adjutant, we need to look at doing some of that on a local level. That way, we've got almost 60 members, and I do good to get 20 at a meeting. And I know everybody has that problem. So, I know it's a problem. It's been a problem. I've talked about it for the whole time that I've been in the SCV and involved in.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and let's talk about some other things. What were some other things you'd like to work on, and you see that's important that we can continue to grow in the next term if you're reelected?
Well, in the next term, I would like to see some more work on Forest Hall done as a long-term big project. Short term, I think we need to get some more monuments up. The monuments in East Tennessee is an excellent idea, because we had a lot of people from East Tennessee, and that's an unknown area.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see some of that work continue. I know we've got some stuff being put up. I'd like to see more work continue in that area, putting more monuments up.
We got a comment here, Sean, from Charles LeRae here, agreeing about communications a challenge for sure. Camp should look into the Group Me app. I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to check that one out. So that's emails just don't get attention, and that's true. Things go to spam, and people don't read them. If you have I've got an older Hotmail account that I still use. It's probably one of my primary email addresses that I've had for, since it'll be for high school for me, Sean. So we're going back to about 1997 for me. I've had that and still have some of those original emails, but now it gets a lot of spam. So I really have to watch it.
Yeah. Well, my Gmail account is probably close to a little over 20 years old, because that's what I use for my work email. When I was at work, we used Gmail. So that's how old that account is.
Yeah. And it just shows how things build up over time and consistency too. People say, why do you not change from that old Hotmail? Because everybody has it. That's the thing I've used. I said, as a professional level, I don't use it like in my business and radio library. I have custom email addresses for those. But it's amazing how many people in the history world know that and have communicated it with other people. It's important to check this communication and try to respond. That we all miss something. Don't get me wrong. We're going to miss an email. We may not respond as fast as some think we should, but just check it, especially from your division level, your camp level, and know what's going on.
It's like my cell phone number. Y'all know, all y'all know, I've got a North Alabama cell phone number. And that's only because I've had it longer than I've been married.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think my dad could memorize a new number. He's almost 80 years old. So,
yep. See, of course, another comment we've heard at the national reunion and a lot, if they know, we will grow.
And that's true.
If people know about us. Sean, let's talk about something and here we're working on the division. I know our Lieutenant Commander in Chief, Tony Griffin, has put out again that he wants divisions to put up billboards. This last year, it really never worked out for us, and timing was tough to get a good location. So we've really put an effort this year. I've already contacted our sales rep. We've got some good locations planned, and I think we even teased on last Tennessee Tuesday some of the banner ideas that we're putting out there and going to work on. And I thought I still had that one saved. I must not. I don't think I do. Yeah, it's gone at the moment. But one of those that we're working, we want something that really promotes what we do. And I don't mind sharing it here tonight. We're looking at one to maybe feature our Tennessee division, our SCV tags, our car tags. To help promote that folks are not familiar with those, that's one of our big sources of income, not just for our organization, but how we give back to other organizations and support other causes that are friendly to the Confederacy and friendly to what we believe in, preserving artifacts at the State Museum. A percentage of that money that comes into us goes direct back to them to preserve Confederate artifacts.
And we have a good relationship with the State Museum, with our museum at Elm Springs. And that's a good thing. They're always loaning us stuff to do. I'm kind of partial to that place. It's only 12 miles from my house. So.
And how far that's come in the past 5 and 6 years.
Oh, yes,
it's hard to believe it's been that long now, to just really an empty space when we first went there, to see a place not just full of things, but being a history buff and a historian and loving history and museums, there's some good stuff in there, some stuff I want to go back and I always know when I go that I want to specifically look at.
Yeah.
That I want to take a photograph of again. I want to look at it again and get a little closer to it and examine it more. And rotating things out, that's important. We see that. So it shows how that's growing, and we couldn't have done this without our members and their support. The artifacts, hopefully we get to a point where there are funds there. If you'll donate to that museum acquisition fund, I believe that's something I did at National, not to brag on me, but give to that. So in time, when that certain artifact comes up of a certain someone, that we can acquire that.
That's a good point, Commander, because and I've told my camps this, and I've spoke at other things and talked about this too. It seems like I have my hand out quite a bit asking for money. Well, gentlemen, it takes money to run this organization. The money is the grease for the wheel, so to speak. And we've got to have money to do things.
And we have been very blessed, Sean, as you know, and others that are in Tennessee know, we've been blessed with folks that have given generously and helped with things such as Forest Hall from across the Confederation to make that happen. Vision has put really also 50% of our own funds in there to make this pavilion happen, and just other causes we support, such as the Sam Davis Home. It's because our members have given that allow us to, as the leaders of the organization, to kind of pass those funds on to other organizations to tell that story.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. to have that.
Well, Sean, I want to give you a chance. I don't want to take away from your time. Anything else that you want to share on your campaign and coming up in April for the division reunion?
Well, I just appreciate everybody's support. And if anybody in Tennessee needs me, they can always ask, because like you say, I'm from one end of the state to the other. We travel quite a bit. I'm fortunate that I have the ability to travel that much.
Yeah.
And my wife has got 4 more years to work until she's got 30 years, and she will retire, and then we'll really be traveling.
Yeah, you'll be all over the place. I tell Casey all the time, I said, when can I retire? Can I retire next month? Can I retire next year? I've still got a few years to go. I guess I could. I just wouldn't. I don't know how well I'd live, but I guess I could say I'm retired.
Yeah.
We got some other comments coming on. Derek Glover saying amen tonight. And I know the comment he's saying amen too is money is the ammunition to continue our fight. I know people don't like to say that, but it does take funds to do anything in our personal lives, professional lives, and our passion here with the SCV. It takes funding to make things happen.
And like I tell my guys, especially camp level, I tell them all the time, I'm not going to ask you to do nothing that I won't do myself.
Yeah.
You lead from the front. That's
true. Mm-hmm. You've got to be there willing to step out when that time needs to be. And something we talk about a lot, we've said on this show before, Sean, is I'm a strong believer. Each person has their skills and their talents. It even takes me back to the scripture, abide in the calling in which you're called. Yes. If you have a skill to clean tombstones and you're really good at that and teaching that, do that. If you work behind the scenes and maybe you work with our legislators, do that. Find what that, if you do a history program that's very good, you're a good speaker, do that. Find your role where you work. And there's positions in the SCV and the division that we need help on. One of those is a newsletter. We've talked about that. Josh Cameron did it for a long time. He needed to step back from it. And we need that person that's willing to, like you stepped up for the Army of Tennessee newsletter. We need our members willing to step out and use their skills and talents to continue to further our cause.
Definitely.
Well, I see Derek here. I knew Derek would jump in on this. He retired a few months ago. Man, all this talk about retirement, man, makes me feel bad. All this multiple jobs and working. I'd love to do just history stuff all the time. But there's one problem, Sean, I think we all know, mostly in the history world. It's hard. You ain't going to make much of a living at it.
No. My brother, if you read his campaign announcement, he's got a bachelor's degree in history, and he works for the state of Tennessee doing something else because he makes more money that way.
And that's true. I mean, there are some, I think, people like Michael Hardy, who's written a lot of books and can really do that. I keep saying one of these days, Sean, I'm going to start writing books and I'm going to travel selling my books, but I don't have them written yet. Maybe one of these days.
I'm trying to write one, but we'll see.
Charles Ray saying there, hang in there, I'll make it. I hope so. I hope I make it a long time. I hope I'm an old man telling these stories one day.
I do too, John. I hope I'm around to see some of it.
We've talked this before, and I think we've even said this on this show the last time you and Rich were on. We go back to National Reunion in Texas, and I hope it's okay that I tell this. We were sitting around talking about elections coming up and where we all want to go. Several of us, where do you want to serve in the SCV? What works best? And somebody said, well, John, if you serve another year as division commander, another term, 2 years, and maybe Rich comes in and let's say he served 4 years, and then Sean, you decide to run, you said something to the effect of, well, I'm never going to get there at this pace.
Yeah. Well, if you serve 2 years, if you're reelected, if Rich runs for 2 years, I'll be like 60. Let's see, that would be in 6 years. I would be 62, almost 63.
That's not too bad. That's not bad.
No, not too bad.
Well, let's see if you move on up and you go to the different councilman, Army level, lieutenant commander in chief, somewhere around 82, 83, Sean's what it's looking like.
We'll see. I don't. I'm not going to say no to councilman maybe one day, but
okay.
We'll see after that. I'll be falling in your wake because you got to do all that after you get through.
Man, we'll see. I love the organization, and we're kind of having fun and just joking around here together, but we love this organization. We care about it. Something I've told people, they said, what's it like to be division commander? It's a lot of work. I've had good people to follow that have done a good job to get this organization to where it is. It makes it easier to lead in these roles when the people before you've done a good job. But it's also neat because we're a historical organization in ourselves, not just teaching history and sharing history, but we have roots to, of course, 1896 and even before that, to follow in the position that people 100 years ago held. One gentleman that's from here, our other division commander, who was a Collinsworth, who is Jim's ancestor, that was served as Tennessee division commander in the early 1900s from Humboldt. So that's pretty neat. It takes us 100 years to get another division commander from Humboldt, but I guess that's all right every 100 years. Yeah. But it's neat to follow in the footsteps of those guys I've read about and learned about. So it's a pretty neat moment, but it's a serious thing to lead in any of these positions. It's not about a title. It's about doing what you can to the best you can. Everybody's going to do it different, and that's okay.
It's about taking our God-given talents and using them in an organization that we love, that we want to forward the history of our ancestors. And I want to say one more thing about Elm Springs. I believe, if my research is correct, my third great-grandfather, who was a lieutenant colonel in the 58th North Carolina, missed the Battle of Franklin. Because their unit had been decimated so bad that they left them on guard duty in Columbia.
Oh.
So my third great-grandfather spent a month or so
they're in Columbia,
almost 2 months in Columbia in the winter of 1864.
But just think, by him being stuck there, for lack of better terms, he's probably here because of that.
I've always thought that I may be here because of that. But that's something interesting that I found out, and I always think about it when I'm at Elm Springs. I think about, I wonder if my grandfather was ever here inside this house, and I'm sure he was.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably saw it, at least. I mean, knew of it.
Yeah, knew of it, and I just wish that I could find their headquarters in Columbia if it still exists. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be.
Because that regiment would have had a headquarters.
Which I'm putting you on the spot. I know. What's his name? Can you tell us his name?
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Silvers.
Okay, unique name. That's a unique name.
And he moved. Another interesting bit about him is he had 3 wives. His first wife died, I believe, in childbirth. He eventually moved from North Carolina to Oregon and was the postmaster in Oregon and died in the 1920s.
Oh, wow.
So it's quite interesting to see what he did.
Yeah, where did he serve? What company did he serve in?
58 North Carolina.
So then did he ever settle in Tennessee? How did you, or was he in Alabama?
No, he was in North Carolina.
So he stayed in North Carolina. Okay.
Stayed in North Carolina and then went to Oregon, as far as I can find. Took a whole bunch of people with him, from what I've read.
Well, have you found other Confederate ancestors? Have you done the research to see if there's others?
Yeah, I've got all my Tennessee ancestors. I do have family from Tennessee. All of my Tennessee ancestors were East Tennessee and fought for the Union.
Oh no! I mean, it happens. I've got some as well, so it's okay.
All my other Confederate ancestors came from the Alabama side of the family.
Yeah,
and I've got several on those. I've documented 6 great-grandfathers, great-great-grandfathers.
Well, see Ryan's comment there. He said that he had some Hayes kin in the 58th North Carolina.
Yep, they were all East North Carolina boys, and my great-great-grandfather was the storekeeper. I guess that's how he became an officer, because he could read and write. And he never owned a slave that I can document. And
that's the case with many of them. Many never did.
Yeah.
Well, here's a good comment here. Derek is picking tonight. You're going to have to get after him. You'll be 100-year-old Strom Thurmond.
I'll remember that, Derek.
The late Strom Thurmond. What was he the longest serving of? He was what? He was late 90s when he was still serving?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. We could have a whole conversation on Strom Thurmond, and some we might just even leave alone.
Some we would have to leave alone.
History is history, and you research it and you learn all kinds of interesting things. Well, Sean, let's do this. Let's go ahead and take one more break, and then we'll kind of come back and we'll go over a few other things happening in the Tennessee division, and we'll wrap up tonight's show if you want to hang around with me just a little longer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back right after this on Tennessee Tuesday. Our Southern heritage is under attack. Whose heritage, some may ask? Well, the heritage of those that love God, their families, and their homes. We must stand together and fight back against those who wish to destroy it. The sons of Confederate veterans regard these attacks as frivolous and are committed to preserve and protect our history. We can't do it alone. We need your help. To learn more about membership, visit TennesseeSCV.org. If not us, who? If not now, when?
When my mother was in college, she danced with Confederate veterans. To me, it wasn't that far away. My father knew this. My mother knew this. Almost 50 years ago, I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In those days, we weren't concerned about saving monuments or any of those things. That wasn't necessary. In fact, none of us had any remote idea that it would ever come up. We can't just sit there and react. We have to be proactive. Or, as Robert E. Lee said, the best way to disrupt your enemy's plans is to strike first. Everyone should do all in his power to collect and disseminate the truth, in the hope that it may find a place in history and descend to posterity. History is not the relation of campaigns and battles and generals or other individuals, but that which shows the principles for which the South contended and which justified her struggle for those principles. If you're looking for some place to be where you think you're going to accomplish something to save our history, go to the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm Thomas Lee Jesse. I'm a descendant of Private Daughtery Gilmer, a Confederate veteran.
And welcome back into Tennessee Tuesday. It's February the 17th. We're about 57 minutes into our show tonight. Our guest is Second Lieutenant Commander Shawn Hill of the Tennessee Division. I'm your host, John Blankenship, also serving as the Tennessee Division Commander. An honor to be here with you tonight. Glad to have Shawn on the show and some great comments tonight. And Derek Glover is getting us a little information there, man. He is quick with it. Talking about Strom Thurmond, left in 01, died in 03.
Mm-hmm.
Something pretty neat about Strom Thurmond, and I know all his history, but know a little bit about him. My grandmother wrote him back when she was in high school, and I've got a little card that he signed. And I don't remember what she wrote him about, but she wrote him, and he sent a little card back with his signature on it. So that's one of those back when those guys responded themselves personally.
He was a pretty powerful politician in his day. He was,
Definitely for a long time. Let's say thank you to our sponsors for our show tonight. Dr. Chris Cummings, of course, he is modern medicine with the Southern Hospitality. He is in Oxford, longtime physician, a great doctor. I got to meet Dr. Cummings several years ago when he was working in Jackson and had lunch with him a few times. A good Southern patriot and one of our sponsors here at Tennessee Tuesday in SCV Chat. And you can also be a sponsor by going to scvchat.com, and you can learn more about the different Patreon levels, or if you want to become a show sponsor as well. Also, we want to say thanks to past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney and his book, Paradox of Freedom, which I have a copy still sitting over here by me where I've been reading on it. We're going to have to get Larry on one night with us, Shawn, let him kind of talk a little bit more about this book. Since he's a show sponsor and all the effort he's going into it. And I heard a little rumor that maybe there might be a second edition to that as he's still doing more research on that topic. So booksbylarry.com, you can get your copy of his latest book and his other works there as well. And also, thanks to 31st Regiment Engraving, they have Southern themed products. Of course, custom labels are engraved gift items, some really neat things. So check them out, 31stregengraving.com. You can learn more about the different services that they can offer you when you're making things that you want to give away for gifts or just custom stuff you'd like to keep. They can do that. Again, we thank them for sponsoring this program this evening. So a big shout out to them. And Sean, let's kind of jump in as we wrap up tonight's show. A few things going on in the Tennessee division. And one of those this evening is our Tennessee division reunion, which is coming up on April the 17th and 18th. This is going to be in Morristown. A good evening there. The camp is put together on Friday night. We'll kind of have a meet and greet, and then Saturday business session. And especially that afternoon is going to be a neat evening on Saturday, April the 18th, as we'll be dedicating the new monument there at the General Longstreet Museum in Russellville. Again, the Bradford Rose SCV camp and the Sam Davis UDC camp putting together that monument. Jordy Barnett has spearheaded that for several years. That's going to be dedicated that afternoon. So make your plans to come and be with us. Again, the host hotel is the Candlewood Suites there in Morristown. We'll be meeting there in a facility just right next to that. And again, that's going to be a good evening, and you can go online to get your reservations done. And there's a photograph of some of the facility and the suites. Just a very nice place. And it's going to be a good weekend. Again, TennesseeSCV.com is where you go to learn more about and get that registration in. And I know they need that pretty soon, as we're a month away, Sean, from all 2 months away, I should say, from this all happening. It's going to be a busy time. We got a lot to do on Saturday. It's an election year, so we have to do the election process for our top 3 officers in the Tennessee division, and then also our brigade commanders and lieutenant brigade commanders. So that all has to happen. Plus, we'll have some business, and going to be a good weekend.
It's going to be a busy weekend. They've done a good job with that statue. I was up there a month ago or so, and Rich and myself were up there, and Mike Beck took us for a tour of the grounds and everything and was talking about it. And it's really going to be nice the way they're doing it. So.
Yeah, very nice location, and a lot of work they've done there at the Longstreet Museum. The Tennessee division has helped support and sponsor different activities and things there at the site. It's I'm comfortable to say that it's Confederate friendly, very Confederate friendly.
Very Confederate friendly, and very it's out there where you can see it in the public.
Yeah, very visible, and it's right there, really in front of the historic home.
Yeah,
it's going to be seen by a lot of folks, and a lot of work's gone into it. And when we had Jordy on, we kind of showed some of the photographs, and Mike Beck as well, as kind of what that looks like, and it's going to be really nice. And we're looking forward to dedicating that at this year's Tennessee Division reunion. Sean, let's talk about some other events coming up. One that's not far away. It's coming up on Saturday, March the 7th. We've been doing this for a few years. The 3 of us, me, you, and Rich have worked on this. Rich has been doing a lot of heading this up. This is going to be our Confederate Flag Day and flag retirement ceremony. And Sean, you want to talk a little bit about that? What's planned that day?
Yeah, we're going to have our normal flag retirement ceremony where we respectfully retire used flags, U.S. flags and Confederate flags. This year, we're going to, instead of doing a rifle volley when we do the salute, we've actually got a guy bringing a cannon.
Oh, wow.
That will be something new for this year. And OCR is doing concessions that day with the profit going to the home. We always have a good turnout. Sometimes it's usually a little cool, but that's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a good event, and I'd encourage anybody that can come to it because it's a very respectful ceremony.
And I did have some questions, Sean. A couple of folks have asked me, and we've planned this rain or shine, unless it's just a dangerous thunderstorm.
Right.
We plan to go ahead in some form or fashion, whether it is raining, to have the event.
Right.
So
rain
hoping that's
shine.
not happening. No snow, no ice, no tornadoes. We hope for a nice, sunny, comfortable, cool day.
Let's not say tornadoes. It's too close to the house.
Yeah. It's going to be a good event. Again, it's coming up on Saturday, March the 7th. Again, the lunch and open house tours there. The house will be open for tours starting at 11. The ceremony starts around 12:30. Again, we want to say thank you to, of course, the Tennessee Division SCV sponsoring this event, along with the Tennessee Order of Confederate Rose, as well as the Mechanized Cavalry participating there to make this event possible. We appreciate all of those organizations for the work they do at not only this event, but all of the events we do throughout Tennessee. We couldn't do that without those fine folks.
No.
And a big thank you. And another thing that we've said a couple of times and starting to share more of these, and people ask, what does the Tennessee Division do? What are some of the things the division supports? And one of those is the mega flag there that's in Trimble. It's known as the Park Cemetery Ridge Confederate Memorial Plaza. Been there for several years now. Of course, the SCV camp in Union City, Camp 176, really put that together and helped lead the charge with it for a long time now. But the Bell's Partisans Camp, 1821 in Trimble, has now pretty much taken full control of that with maintaining the site. And the Tennessee Division wanted to support their work and help sponsor the state flags that fly there, and also keeping the mega flag illuminated at night. It's right off the highway there, which what will be eventually the future I-69. So you can see that site. And again, the Tennessee Division, glad to be able to be one of the sponsors there and help support that project. There's others across the division, from small monument projects we do to larger projects as well. We help support, and we encourage our brigades and camps to reach out to the division. If we're able to partner with them, we'd like to do that. So definitely many projects we're involved in. Another thing, of course, that is really the lifeblood of our organization, Sean, is our Tennessee Division vehicle license plates. You see those there. There's the motorcycle plate and also the vehicle, regular car or truck or SUV plate there. Of course, a portion of those funds, when you get your tags there at your clerk's office, will come back to the Tennessee Division. As we said, we help fund projects at the Tennessee State Museum and the preservation and conservation of Confederate artifacts. We've done several things over the years. I know we've done the General Patrick Claiborne Kepi. We've done his frock coat as well, I believe. Was it his frock coat? I know we've done one coat. No, the Sam Davis coat.
Sam Davis coat.
The Sam Davis coat, and then some flags we've done as well over the years.
A bunch of flags and the Kepi, yeah.
And someone asked me recently, they said, where are they at on flag? There's a lot of flags there. If you've never got to speak with the director there, they have a lot of flags, and there's a lot that still need work. But the challenge is always not necessarily funding on everything, is to find a conservator to do the work.
Right.
They can only do so many, and there's only so many people doing that work. So that's sometimes a challenge, but we've been able to fund several of those, and we'll continue to fund Confederate artifacts there at the State Museum and do our part to partner with them. So that's where some of that funding goes that comes into that. And then other things, other projects we work with, like partnering with Sam Davis Home and other sites as well through the funds through our tag sale. So very important. Lots of things going on in the Tennessee Division, and we're glad to be able to be here to do that. We want to mention another one here that James Patterson shared with us coming up on the 25th of April. Of course, I've got to go to this event a couple of times, and at the Lincoln County Courthouse there in Fayetteville, it's their Confederate History Month commemoration. Senator Janice Bowling is going to be the guest speaker. They'll have a memorial service held there at the Confederate Monument. Again, always a great service there in downtown Fayetteville. Appreciate James and the work his camp does there to keep that going. It's always a very nice ceremony and a beautiful monument. If you've never seen the monument on that square, Sean, we know they help maintain that and keep it clean.
Yep.
And it really, really looks really good.
Yep. Their CERT program at that camp cleaned that monument a couple of years ago. So,
well, sounds like you have a visitor in the room with you, I heard.
I do. You hear the cat?
Well, my cat Snowball, he's blocked out of the room right now. I heard him clawing at the carpet trying to come into the door a moment ago. He don't like the door shut to the office.
Well, I figured I might as well leave my office door open where he can come and go as he please. I'm surprised he ain't climbed up on the back of this office chair.
Well, that's what happens with I think I see him back there. He's getting into something behind you.
He's rubbing his head on that deer mount that I've got to put up in here that I ain't had time to put up in here yet.
See, that's the thing about cats, Sean. We all know that they want the attention. They know whatever we're doing is taking our attention from them, so they're going to get right in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Well, again, it's been a good show tonight. I guess it's about time to wrap up. Again, we thank all of our folks for watching and joining in this evening and commenting. We've had many, many comments, and we like to interact with you, our viewers, here at Tennessee Tuesday. Again, Sean, thank you for coming on tonight. Know the door. Anytime you want to come on and talk about activities, events, it's open.
Oh, yeah.
Any final words you want to leave us as you're seeking the position of Second Lieutenant Commander again at the reunion?
I appreciate everybody's support, and I love every one of my SCV brothers. We may not always agree on everything, but we need to conduct ourselves as gentlemen and get along and get this work done and honor our ancestors, which is the most important thing. It's not about me. It's not about John Blankenship or Jason. It's about them, and we've got to preserve this history and pass it down.
Absolutely. And as we close, I'll grab this one photograph here of one of my ancestors, and I've showed this before behind me. This is Joseph Rembrandt Blankenship. He served in a company out of Arkansas originally, came back after Vicksburg, joined the 7th Tennessee Cavalry out of Haywood County, served to the end of the war. And we got him his first stone. He now has a grave marker. It hadn't been dedicated yet, but him and his wife have grave markers now at their grave outside of town. But this is the reason we do it. It's not about us. If we remember, it's about them and their service and sacrifice and the things they went to. He was at Vicksburg. And again, I'll never know his whole story of what it was like, but I can't even imagine.
I can't either. They were much better men than us.
Yes. Yes. And we must remember them and honor them. That's what we're here for. We're the old saying, we're a band of brothers. And I think that's what we are. We honor our ancestors. We may not always agree on everything the same way and how it should get done, but the key thing is we get it done. And good folks in Tennessee Division is glad to be able to serve with you, Sean, and all the others in our division and all the work they do.
As to you, Commander.
Well, that's going to wrap us up tonight. We'll be back with you again next Tuesday night. The plan is, I believe I've got to give some kind of speech as I'm seeking the commander position again in Tennessee Division. So you've probably seen my official announcement out there. Got that written. So I don't like to talk about myself because it's not about me, as we just said. But I'll tell you some of the goals I've got and things that we'd like to work on and what we've done. It's not what I've done, but it's what we've done together to make our division strong. So I'll be back with you next week. I think Jason's going to be back with me. I may step out of the host seat and let Jason ask me questions. So I'm sure he'll have some questions. They may be hard questions. We'll see. We'll turn that over to him and let him lead it. How about that?
Well, I'll heckle you from the text messages on the side.
There you go. Well, it's been a great show again. I hope everybody will be back with us next week, next Tuesday night. Do have yourself a great rest of this week, and we will see you again next Tuesday. Remember all the great shows on, of course, outside of Tennessee Tuesday. We're not the only ones that are here on SCB Chat. Let's quickly look at Monday night. There's the traditional, the one that got it started, the SCB Chat program by that name, starts at 7 o'clock. Connor and Moose are on with you then, and they have guests from time to time as well. Also, Tuesday nights, of course, is our show at 7 o'clock. Wednesday night, Look Around Florida with Sean McFall. That's at 7 o'clock as well, Central Time. And then on Thursday nights, remember the first Thursday is Commander Comments, and then the rest of the Thursdays through the month is Look Around the Confederation. And then on Friday nights, in the Friends of the Douglas South Hall Freeman group, David Pope will be on there with programs. That's usually on most Friday nights. That's at 7 o'clock. And then Sunday night, my friend Michael C. Hardy with Hardy on History. That's at 7:30 on his page, Hardy on History. So they're all part of the SCB Chat Network. Some great shows. Check them out. We will be back with you next week. Have yourself a great rest of this week, a wonderful weekend, and God bless.
Was your great-grandfather a traitor or a patriot? Today's politically correct are trying hard to take away the heritage of the brave Confederate soldiers who fought and died for their land. But one thing is certain, they can't change history. Those Confederate soldiers were fighting for the same reason soldiers fight today. They were fighting against homeland invasion. We believe that the desecration of the bravery, patriotism, and honor of those men should not be allowed. They were outmanned and outsupplied, but they were never outfought. They were proud men who believed in fighting to protect their dignity, their homes, and their families. If you're the male descendant of a Confederate soldier, we'd welcome you to join with us in the preservation of that heritage. We're the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Check us out on the internet at scv.org or call us at 800-MY-SOUTH. That's 800-697-6884. Sons of Confederate Veterans, dedicated to preserving the reputation of men like Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and your great-grandfather.